Hi, everyone, and welcome to Low Country Spotlight. I'm Karen Thrower, filling in for Margie Pizarro. Today, I would like to introduce you to our very first guest, whose name is Shakima Clark Chapman, and she's with Divas in Training. Let's welcome Shakima.
Hey Karen, how are you?
Oh, I'm great. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic.
Good. So tell me a little bit about yourself and how you started Divas in Training and what it stands for.
Awesome. Well, first I do have to say exactly what Divas in Training is. Divas in Training is a character development program for girls. Our mission is to aspire them to aspire for success, honor, and power. And so what we do is really just expose them to different individuals in the community, because I truly believe that the catalyst to success is exposure. And so through this organization, we introduce them to entrepreneurs, business women, community leaders, so that they can see someone who looks like themselves so that they can aspire to do more. So I was just really inspired by God to bring this organization to the marketplace here in Charleston, just based on my personal testimony. You know, as a child, I was such a mean and angry child. It's amazing. Anytime I share that testimony, people that know me today can't believe it.
Well, I definitely don't see it.
Ask my mama. and it really was as a result of some personal things that had happened to me that I kept locked inside. And so because I kept that locked inside, I couldn't really be my true self. And I think that happens to a lot of girls, that they aren't able to really express who they are. And so that's why we allow them to, we peel like sort of the layers, the dirt, everything that's happened to them, and really expose who they are. Because when I was going through my experience and my challenges, I felt like teachers, you know, administrators, they all pretty much wrote me off and kind of thought they knew where my ultimate destiny would be, but thank God he had another plan for me.
Well, I love the fact that you believe that success comes from exposure. So what age group do you begin working with in Divas in Training?
Well, we target girls from 6th to 12th grade.
Okay.
Because we feel like that's a really good turning point for them. And so with that, we pair them up with individuals in the community that will kind of help them, you know, show them a different way. We typically like to do our programs in the North Charleston area based on, you know, statistics about poverty, because we want to make sure that they see that there's a world outside of where they live. I've been working with children for a long time. I have a degree in elementary education, and I just recall one of my teaching experiences, we took the kids to Carowinds on a trip, and some of them had never left the city. And so that's why we really focus on showing them something outside of their, you know, their neighborhood, their community.
Okay, so are you partnered with any other organizations in the area as you're building this? And when's your next Divas in Training program?
Well, we definitely, it's very grassroots. Myself, I do have a team of volunteers that help us. Our biggest event is coming up in October. It's a conference that we put on called Dream, Sparkle, and Shine. And the theme of that conference is to inspire the girls to dream big, sparkle more, and shine bright. And we again bring in some knock dead speakers to come in. This year, our keynote speaker is Dr. Yvonne Commodore.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you are familiar
No,
with her,
I'm not.
but
Tell me a little bit about her.
She came to this country with nothing and just went from poverty to prosperity. And she's an author of a book, as well as she served as a principal of Lincoln High School. She's an international speaker. So I'm so excited that the girls will be able to see and hear her testimony, because that's one of the things we want them to understand. Despite where you start, it does not matter. It's where you finish that matters. And so seeing Dr. Yvonne, they will be able to see an example of someone who came to this country with nothing, and look what she aspired to. We also have entrepreneur Angie Ravenel,
Okay.
who has a experienced a lot of success in the beauty industry. Up and coming rising star in Charleston, director of the Young Professionals, Erica Wright with the Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
And she's going to speak to the girls about dreaming big. And then we have a VP from T-Mobile, Shayna Anderson, who's going to talk to the girls about shining bright, which really our theme from Shining Bright is just being uniquely yourself. You know, never diminish your shine for anyone else. We're all unique, we're all unique, and we're all individuals. And so we want to encourage the girls to embrace who they are.
Okay, well, I see this wonderful journey that you have taken yourself just in your demeanor and how you carry yourself. What are some tips that you would give some young woman who is watching this right now and she's not quite sure how bright to shine her light?
Awesome. That's a great question for me because, you know, I always tell people now, I've evolved. God has allowed me to be a business owner, and so this is my ministry to give back. But I'm really just a little girl that was born to a teenage mom who lacked confidence, self-confidence. And in all honesty, that confidence for me came through my relationship with Christ.
Okay.
And so through that relationship, he helped me overcome my fears. I think fear is a major factor that paralyzes a lot of us from pursuing our dreams, our desires, and goals. And then I would also tell them to renew their mind. I'm an avid reader. I'm always reading something, whether it be self-help books, historical fiction, because I need to fill my cup up. And then I would also inspire and encourage them to seek people like themselves.
Okay.
I really believe in a strong circle of people who are going the same place that you're going. If you are the smartest person in your group, you need another group. And so those definitely would be the tips that I would give.
Okay. Well, I know that I've watched Shane, you mentioned Shayna Anderson. I had the privilege of working with her many years ago, so I think it's great that you've contacted someone who's going to come in and be a part of this experience for the young woman. What can you say is one of the greatest obstacles that you feel our young women today face?
Oh, that's a great question. And in all honesty, I think it goes back, especially in this local area, back to lack of exposure. I mean, I've worked with children who we took to a restaurant. We live in Charleston near the coast, who didn't know what scallops were.
Wow.
So, you know, it's small things like that that we take for granted, that we assume that everyone else knows. They don't know. So I really have to tie it back to exposure. The things that they are exposed to are so negative that they cannot see themselves doing anything else. And so that's what we want to do with them with Divas in Training. Show them a different way, expose them to something else.
Okay. Now, as parents for a young girl who, and even a father who is raised, single father who is raising a young female, what would you say to encourage them to remove their children from circles of friends? Because you just talked about friends and how they are a great impact on who we are. If you see your child in a situation with negative friends, what's some advice that you would give them about helping them change their child circle?
Well, here's the thing that's interesting to me. We encourage our girls to be a light. And into being a light, they, as just as the scripture says, they should be transformed. They should not be transformed by this world, but they should be the light of the world. And so honestly, we would encourage them to be an example for their friends. A lot of times when you look at kids and peer groups, no one is comfortable enough to step up to be a leader. And so that's why they're all doing the same thing. So I would encourage them to encourage their children to be leaders. They never know what influence or impact that they may have on another child.
Okay. Shakima, thank you so much for coming and talking to us here at Low Country Spotlight. We are excited to see what she's doing with Divas in Training. If you want to get more information about Divas in Training, please contact them via their Facebook page. Her information is also posted at the bottom of the screen.